What if I told you that your life could completely transform not by doing everything differently, but by changing just 1% every single day? What if greatness isn't about massive leaps, but about those tiny steps you take when no one is watching? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world obsessed with overnight success. Everyone wants instant results, quick fame, and fast rewards. But real success doesn't happen overnight. It happens every night when you choose to show up again, even when it doesn't make sense. The truth is, every extraordinary life you've ever admired wasn't built in a day. It was built in invisible moments, with small choices that compounded over time. And that's where the magic of the 1% rule begins. This rule isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about becoming slightly better today than you were yesterday, and trusting that these tiny changes will lead to a life beyond your imagination. Small changes create massive shifts. Every major transformation in life begins with something so small that the world fails to notice it. A small decision to wake up earlier, to read one more page, to walk one extra step, to say one kind word instead of a cruel one. These tiny actions look ordinary on the surface, but they are silently creating an extraordinary version of you. You may not see the change today, but it's happening quietly like a seed under the soil waiting for the right season to bloom. The 1% rule teaches us that greatness isn't achieved in explosions, it's achieved in whispers. It's the quiet moment when you choose discipline over comfort. It's the unseen hour you invest in your dream while the world sleeps. It's that one more try after the 100th failure. You see, we overestimate what we can achieve in a day, but underestimate what we can build in a year if we just keep moving forward little by little. When you take that one small step every day, something magical happens, momentum. You begin to feel stronger, clearer, and more alive. The weight that once held you back begins to feel lighter because you are no longer standing still. Even a 1% improvement daily compounds into transformation. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Small changes might look insignificant in the moment, but when repeated over time, they redefine your entire identity. That's the quiet beauty of progress. It doesn't shout, it builds. It doesn't demand, it shapes. Every single effort, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you are becoming. The people who change their lives aren't the ones who wait for motivation. They are the ones who keep moving, even without it. They understand that success is never about the size of your steps, but the direction you're walking in. So make that call, read that page, start that workout, speak that truth. Because one day, you look back and realize those small changes didn't just shift your habits, they shifted your entire destiny. You won't even recognize the person you once were because the 1% of courage you showed every day will have quietly rewritten the story of your entire life. Consistency is louder than motivation. Motivation is that spark that starts the fire. But consistency is the oxygen that keeps it alive. There will be days when you wake up full of purpose and days when you can barely breathe under the weight of your doubts. On those days, motivation will fail you, but consistency won't. When you keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because you said you would, that's when growth truly begins. The world tells you to chase inspiration, but inspiration fades. What truly matters is your commitment to keep walking, even when the road disappears beneath your feet. Consistency is not about feeling ready. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's a silent form of strength that builds empires one small act at a time. Every successful person you admire wasn't always motivated, but they were always consistent. They showed up on the days that broke them. They practiced when no one was watching. They believed when the world called them foolish. And that's why their success looks effortless today, because you never saw the days when it wasn't. When you learn to show up, regardless of how you feel, life begins to trust you with more. The universe starts rewarding your discipline, because consistency sends a message that says, I am ready for more. And slowly, you start seeing what others don't progress hidden behind patience. Consistency is louder than motivation because it's the proof that you value growth more than comfort. It's easy to show up when you're inspired, but it's powerful to show up when you're exhausted. That's where real strength lives. There is something sacred about persistence. It's a quiet rebellion against every excuse your mind tries to make. It's the difference between dreams that fade and dreams that flourish. When you keep going, not because you have to, but because you promised yourself you would, you turn ordinary effort into extraordinary success. And someday, when you reach the top, you'll realize it wasn't your motivation that brought you there. It was your consistency, your persistence, and your refusal to stop when it would have been easier to quit. Discipline turns dreams into reality. Dreams are beautiful, but discipline is what gives them breath. It's easy to wish, it's easy to hope, it's easy to imagine, but it's discipline that builds bridges between your dreams and your reality. Discipline is not the absence of freedom, it's the creation of it. Because when you control your actions, you gain control over your destiny. There will always be distractions pulling you away from your purpose, comfort, fear, doubt, comparison. But discipline silences them all. It whispers, "Not today." It reminds you that your goals deserve more than excuses. It's that inner fire that pushes you to do what needs to be done, not what feels easy. When you practice discipline daily, you build trust with yourself. You stop breaking promises to your own soul, and that's when transformation begins. The 1% rule and discipline walk hand in hand. Every small act of discipline becomes a vote for your future. Every time you resist distraction and choose focus, you are declaring, "My purpose matters." Discipline may not be glamorous, it's not loud, it doesn't get applause, but it's the foundation of every great success story. Behind every triumph is a person who refused to let their emotions decide their effort. That's the quiet power of discipline. When you choose discipline, you're not losing your comfort, you're gaining your freedom. You're building a life that doesn't depend on mood or motivation. You're teaching yourself that progress doesn't require perfection, it just requires consistency. The truth is, the world will never remember your intentions, it will remember your discipline. It will remember that you kept going when everything told you to stop, that you stayed true when no one noticed your struggle, that you didn't just dream, you worked until the dream turned into your reality. And that's how discipline transforms you quietly, steadily, and powerfully until one day, your reality becomes the dream you once thought was impossible. Patience is your secret power. We live in a world that worships speed. Fast results, instant validation, quick success. But the truth is, real growth is slow, sacred, and unseen. Patience is the art of believing that your efforts are working even when nothing seems to change. It's the courage to keep watering your seed even when the soil looks dry. Patience doesn't mean waiting for things to happen. It means trusting that what you're doing will bear fruit in time. It's one of the hardest virtues to practice because our minds crave proof. But life doesn't give proof first, it gives tests. And patience is how you pass them. When you practice the 1% rule, you're playing the long game. You're learning to appreciate the process, not just the outcome. You're understanding that every small effort, though invisible today, is building your foundation for tomorrow. Patience keeps you grounded when progress feels slow. It reminds you that growth isn't always visible, but it's always happening. Just like a tree grows its roots long before it grows its branches, your results are being formed in silence before they bloom into success. There will be moments when you'll question everything, when you'll feel like giving up because you can't see results. That's when you must remind yourself, your time is coming. The delay is not denial. The waiting is not wasted, it's preparation. The most beautiful part of patience is that it shapes your character while you wait. It teaches humility, resilience, and grace. It strengthens your faith that good things take time and the best things take even longer. So when you feel like your journey is moving too slowly, remember that patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. The universe is never late, it's simply aligning your timing with your readiness. Your future self is built by today's choices. Every decision you make today is silently creating the person you will become tomorrow. The 1% rule is not just about habits, it's about identity. Every small act of courage, every moment of discipline, every ounce of effort you give today becomes the bricks of your future self. You are not waiting for your best version to appear. You are building it in real time. Your choices, no matter how small, are shaping your destiny. Every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you say no to distractions, you are aligning yourself with a higher version of who you're meant to be. The power lies not in massive change, but in daily devotion. Your future self is watching you, hoping you'll stay strong through this phase, trusting you'll keep going even when it's hard. Because one day, you will look back and thank yourself for not giving up when things didn't make sense. The 1% rule reminds you that the extraordinary person you dream of becoming doesn't suddenly appear. They're crafted, molded, and shaped through daily choices that no one sees. It's not the big leaps that define you, it's the small steps you take with heart, again and again. Life doesn't change through one grand event, it changes through quiet commitment. Through mornings you didn't want to rise, through nights you refused to give up, through every single moment you chose purpose over comfort. Your habits are your story in motion. The choices you make today are writing the next chapter of your life. The question is, what kind of story are you writing? One of excuses or one of evolution? One of fear or one of faith? Because the truth is, your future isn't waiting for you somewhere far away. It's being written now in every small act of effort, in every single 1% improvement you choose to make today. In the end, the beauty of the 1% rule is that it teaches us to fall in love with the process, not just the result. It reminds us that we don't have to rebuild our entire lives overnight. We just have to start where we are with what we have and do one thing a little better than yesterday. Growth is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about learning to trust each step, no matter how small. Because those tiny, daily choices, those unseen moments of effort, they are the invisible threads that weave the fabric of a transformed life. You may not see the change immediately, but one day you will look back and realize how far you've come and how that 1% of courage every single day quietly changed everything. So take a deep breath and remember, you don't have to be extraordinary to begin. But if you begin, you will become extraordinary. Keep walking, even if it's slow. Keep building, even if it's small. The 1% rule isn't just a formula for success. It's a way of living that honors patience, persistence, and purpose. Because life doesn't change when you do something big once. It changes when you choose to grow a little every single day until the ordinary becomes magnificent and your small beginnings turn into a story of unstoppable transformation.